Hey everyone, welcome to the Gate 3 guide for the Kazeros Mordum Raid. I will go over major mechanics and some notable attack patterns. The item level requirement for this fight is 1680 for normal mode and 1700 for hard mode. Completing this raid will give you materials for advanced honing similar to Echidna. Normal mode will allow you to advance hone from levels 21 to 30, and hard mode will allow you to advance hone from 31 to 40. I will showcase the rewards for completing this raid on screen now. For battle items, you will bring Dark Grenade, Atropine, and Stimulant if you're playing support. The fourth battle item will be Sacred Charm. One support, however, should bring Corrosive Bomb. If you are not lacking damage, it is recommended to bring Time Stop. The boss starts off with 500 lines of HP and will always be in the center. The first major mechanic happens at 475. Before I dive into the mechanics, I would like to go over some gimmicks that occur throughout the fight. When you start the fight, you will notice a meter below your character and an icon above your character. The icon will either be blue or red. In addition, you will notice a red and blue buff below the boss's HP line. This simply tells you how many players in a raid have red and blue icon. Some attacks from the boss can increase your meter. If your meter reaches 50%, your colored icon will change and you will have an aura of that color around you for a few seconds. If this occurs, you need to stand away from members that do not share the same color as you, as that aura will increase their gauge. In addition, if too many players in a raid have the same color, you will take considerable tick damage over time. However, there is a way to rebalance the colors throughout the entire raid. Periodically throughout the fight, the boss will summon a lightning circle on the ground that starts to move out. In addition, a few players will have lightning coming from their character, which is also noted by a debuff above your mana bar, and one player will have a white aura surrounding their character. This white aura will swap colors with anyone standing inside of it. Any player with the lightning debuff needs to move to the edge of the map. After a moment, a lightning puddle will drop under your feet. This lightning puddle will increase gauge rapidly and does a lot of damage. The white aura is designed to help you tackle any situation where the colors are imbalanced. If too many players in a raid are red or blue, swap accordingly. You will see how many players are blue or red by looking at the buff below the boss's HP line. If your meter is 100%, a massive telegraph will come from your character, and after a moment, it will explode, dealing massive damage to anyone inside that telegraph. The last gimmick to go over is Destruction. Every time you succeed a counter on the boss, you will see a blue circle on the boss itself that acts as a dial showing how much destruction is needed to break the boss. If you succeed the destruction check, the boss becomes omnidirectional for the entire fight, meaning any back or front attack will count as a back or front attack regardless of where you're attacking from. The Balthor Sidereal is designed to help with this destruction check. Whenever the Balthor Sidereal is up, use it preemptively when a counterattack is shown. In addition, the support with Corrosive Bomb should throw it on the boss preemptively when a counterattack is shown. You should only need to use Balthor one time. The rest of the destruction check will be possible as long as you hit the counterattacks and throw Corrosive Bomb. The first major mechanic happens at 475 HP lines or below. The boss will slam the ground, showing 3 blue pizza telegraphs around him. Standing in these telegraphs will increase meter and shock you for a few seconds. A few lightning pillars will spawn that rotate around the map. You simply need to dodge the lightning so that you do not get shocked. Use Sacred Charm or a Cleanse ability if you notice a party member is shocked. During this mechanic, the boss are periodically aggro to a random player and shoot a laser in front of him. Both the lightning and the laser from the boss will increase your meter. What I recommend is staying on the inner side, close to the boss, and moving clockwise. In addition, one random player will get a cross icon below their character. After a moment, it will spawn lightning, but this lightning does not do a lot of damage, nor will it shock any players. The next major mechanic happens at 450 HP lines or below and is similar to 475, except the lightning pillars now move in the opposite direction. In addition, pizza telegraphs will occur that are either red or blue. You need to make sure you stand in the pizza that matches your color. If you stand in the wrong color, your meter will increase and will shock you for a few seconds. A yellow pizza telegraph will happen during the end of this mechanic. Standing in the yellow will not shock you but will increase your meter. The next major mechanic happens at 425 HP lines or below. Balthor's dialog box will be shown, and the boss will be holding two large balls of lightning. The map will continue to get smaller, and you need to move to the area that is safe. At the same time, the balls of lightning from the boss will explode and send out smaller balls of lightning. Getting hit by these balls will shock you. If you are shocked, a party member has to cleanse you. If you're in the outside zone, you will take massive tick damage. A safe zone will be shown in a moment with a large telegraph coming from the boss that is aggroed on a random player. Everyone needs to stand in the middle of the safe zone, then start moving left so that there is enough room to move over to the right side. You will move to the right side once the telegraph fills up. Once the safe zone disappears, you need to start running away. The boss is firing a laser that will kill you upon impact. In hard mode, you will see large red and blue balls. Collect the balls that match your color. In normal mode, this does not exist. You will need to dodge a series of telegraphs in addition to a laser that will fire periodically. Getting hit by the laser or telegraphs will shock you. The next major mechanic is at 400 HP lines or below. This is similar to the 450 mechanic. You will see pizza telegraphs that are blue or red. Go to the pizza that matches your color. Instead of dealing with lightning pillars this time, you will see multiple set of two orbs that will fire a laser connected to each other. These lasers will rotate and fire every few seconds. At 375 or below, the first stage break mechanic will occur. A few players will get a yellow puddle surrounding their character. Move away from others as standing in this puddle will increase your meter. One player will get a skirmish debuff and a cross mark on their character. A orb will spawn somewhere at the edge of the map, and the boss will turn its aggro to the marked player. At the same time, the boss will show a stagger bar. The marked player needs to bait the boss's aggro to the orb that is shown at the edge of the map. Then the boss will fire a beam that will kill the orb. You do not want to complete the stagger check until after the boss kills the orb. If you complete the stagger check too early, the orb will stick around and become a hindrance throughout the entire fight. When you complete the stagger check, a cutscene will occur and the boss will attempt to break part of the map. The marked player from earlier needs to go to that part of the map that is glowing yellow and press G to block the attack. There will be 2 attacks in total to block. Every time you block, you deal 2 billion damage to the boss. Here is a small tip for this mechanic. If you look at your minimap, you will notice edges of the map that are green, blue, purple, etc. The area that the boss is trying to break will always be green for this mechanic. The marked player can preemptively go to the green side so that he is ready to block the attack. Once the marked player blocks 2 attacks, move away from that tile as the boss will destroy that part of the map. In addition, the boss will be staggered for a long time. If there is any destruction check left on the boss, this is the time to finish it off. It is also a huge window to deal damage, so DPS should use Atropine and Dark Grenade. When the boss breaks the map, the mechanic will finish and Phase 2 will begin. During Phase 2, it is important for everyone to gather up in the center of the map. This is because it is now possible to die by gravity. Keep in mind that if you're knocked to the back side of the map, that will not cause you to fall off. Death by gravity only applies to parts of the map that are broken. In addition, you will notice that the edge of the map on the left and right side have a small purple telegraph. If you approach the purple telegraph and press G, you can grapple from one side of the map to the other. However, it does have a 10-second cooldown. I would use this grapple for any attacks that you may not be able to dodge. The next major mechanic happens at 325 HP lines or below. The purple stagger bar on the boss will disappear, and the boss will summon a lightning aura in the middle with blue telegraphs. Dodge the blue telegraphs since it can shock you and move to the center to avoid the one-shot attack. In normal mode, there is no blue telegraph. Once you get to the center, blue and red orbs will be scattered across a map that you need to collect. If any orbs are not collected after some time, they will turn into lightning puddles. The next major mechanic happens at 300 HP lines or below. The purple stagger bar will disappear, and the boss will glow blue for a counterattack. However, this is a bait. If you counter too early, it will be a raid wipe. Wait for the boss to charge up 3 times in total, then counter the boss. In addition, when the boss is fully charged up, you will see a large orb coming from the boss's weapon. which is another way to tell when you should counter. The next major mechanic happens at 275 HP lines or below and only exists in hard mode. The purple stagger bar will disappear, and the boss will show a red telegraph in front of him, which will summon an anvil on the ground. Then the boss will glow yellow and require all players to block his attack on the anvil. There will be 3 attacks in total. The first 2 attacks are quick and easy to block. The last attack is a lot slower. Pay attention to the boss's hammer and wait for him to attack before you block. When blocking, place your cursor on the anvil. During prog, it is recommended to use your Hyper Awakening right after blocking the first attack. This will bypass the mechanic entirely, assuming everyone uses their Hyper Awakening. If any player fails to Hyper Awaken, or fails to block the attack 3 times, the players that failed will be stunned. Then the boss will try to smash you with the hammer, which is a one-shot kill. Party members can cleanse the stun effect so that players can move out, but the boss will still try to attack. Press G to block the attack. If a player fails to block that attack, that player will be stunned and the boss will try again. This can happen up to 3 times in total. At 250 HP lines or below, the second stage break mechanic will occur. Similar to 375, 3 players will have a yellow aura, and 1 player will have a mark on their character, which is also noted as a debuff above your mana bar. The marked player needs to move to the orb on the map. The boss will show a stagger bar, but do not complete the stagger check until after the boss fires a laser to the orb. When you complete the stagger check, this is a perfect time to use another Dark Grenade and Atropine. The boss will try to break the right side of the map. The marked player will go to that part of the map and block the attack 3 times in total. The first attack is slow and the next 2 are fast. When you finish blocking, move back with everyone else. When the boss breaks the map, this will begin phase 3 of the fight. The boss will no longer wield the hammer and will perform many attacks that occur in phase 1 with some new patterns as well. In phase 3, the boss can do a special pattern where he will aggro to a random player and show a large yellow telegraph. The player with the aggro should keep the telegraph steady until it fills up. Then the boss will rotate the laser to whichever side has more players. That side will need to quickly go to the purple telegraph and press G to grapple on over to the other side. However, in phase 3, when you grapple over to the other side, you need to press the A key on your keyboard, otherwise you will die by gravity. You do not have to press it at a perfect time. You can simply spam A on your keyboard. The next major mechanic happens at 200 HP lines or below and only exists in hard mode. Blue will go right side and red will go left side. You will see an area covered by lightning on the outside. Every player will get a large puddle around their character that matches their color. If anyone of the opposite color stands in your puddle, they will take massive damage. You will see orbs that spawn and will try to move towards the boss. Red, blue, and yellow. Yellow will shock you if you get hit. If any blue or red orbs hit the boss will gain a shield that increases with each orb he takes. You can get rid of these orbs by positioning yourself where the orbs are inside your puddle. The puddle deals damage to the orbs. Blue can only get rid of red, and red can only get rid of blue. When the red side is dealt with their orbs, they will move to the purple telegraph and hop on over to the other side. And the blue side will go clockwise and deal with the rest of the orbs. At the end of this mechanic, the boss will slam the ground, knocking players back. Try not to stay close to the edge at the end of this mechanic, as you can die by gravity. The next major mechanic happens at 180 HP lines or below. Just like the 200 mechanic, you will get a large puddle that matches your color. Red will go to the left side and stay close to the boss, while blue will go to the right side and stay outside. Pizza telegraphs will occur, and you need to go to the pizza that matches your color. The next major mechanic happens at 160 HP lines or below and only exists in hard mode. The boss will throw his hammers in front of him. Pay attention to the color of the hammers, as that will determine which side is red and which side is blue. Go to the side that matches your color. In a moment, a hammer will fall down on the edge of the map on both sides, and then you will see a shield surrounding the boss with a stagger check that must be completed. The raid leader needs to position himself between the hammer and the boss and use the Bastion Sidereal. This will kill the hammer on that side. When the Bastion follow-up is available, use it to kill the hammer on the other side. When you deal with both of the hammers, the shield on the boss will go away and you will complete the stagger check. When you complete the stagger check, you will notice 8 circles on the ground that are blue or red. These are safe zones that you must go to that correspond with your color. This will protect you from the final attack. I'm showing a picture on screen now that predetermines where you should go based upon which party you are in and your party number. When the stagger check is done, the boss will give a white aura to the player who is closer to the boss. If your spot already matches the color you have, stay away from the boss and go to your spot. If your spot does not match your color, stack up near the boss so that you can get the white puddle and swap your color. Once your color is changed, go to your spot and wait for the boss to do his final attack. Then the mechanic will finish. The next major mechanic is at 140 HP lines or below. Random players will get lightning on their character and a lightning debuff shown above their mana bar. After a moment, it will drop a lightning puddle on the ground. The players with the lightning should go to the edge and drop their puddles on the edge. The boss will show piece of telegraphs 4 times in total. The third or final piece of telegraph may not match your color. In that case, you could take it on purpose with support care, or go to the purple telegraph and take the grapple if you have high meter. At 120 HP lines or below, another stage break mechanic will occur. Just like the previous stage break mechanics, some players will have a yellow puddle around them. Stay away from those players. One random player will get a mark on their character and a debuff. This player needs to go to the orb on the map and move out right when the boss is about to fire a laser to the orb. Then he will complete the stagger check. The marked player will then go to the right side and block 3 attacks in total. The first 2 are fast and the last one is slow. This is a good time for all players to use Atropine and Dark Grenade. After the marked player is done blocking, move out as he will destroy that part of the map. The end of this mechanic will begin phase 4. In this phase, it is very common to die by gravity considering you don't have much room to work with. The next major mechanic usually occurs after 3 or 4 attacks from the start of phase 4. This mechanic exists in hard mode only. The boss will smash his hammer on the ground and show 2 safe zones split down the middle. In a moment, a color will appear from both safe zones telling you which side to go to depending on your color. You cannot move outside of these safe zones as you will die due to massive tick damage. At the same time, the boss will periodically slam his hammer on either side, which does massive damage. It is recommended for support to use Awakening since the hammer attack does a lot of damage. A few safe zones will be shown that is split between red and blue. Go to the one that matches your color. In addition, a random player will get the white puddle which will swap color. It is recommended for that player to stay at the bottom, as having multiple people swap colors during this mechanic can be confusing. After the multi-safe zone attack, both left and right side will show a color that you need to go to depending on your color. This will happen 2 times with the color swapping after the first time. Then finally, you will move out as the boss will slam the middle of the map. The next major mechanic happens after a few patterns from the previous mechanic. It is the same as the 300 mechanic, where the boss will glow blue for a counterattack. Do not counter until he charges 3 times in total. If you counter at the wrong time, it will be a raid wipe. The last major mechanic happens at 75 HP lines or below. This is the final stage break mechanic. Just like the previous stage break mechanics, the marked player will go to the orb and move out after the boss fires a laser. Then the marked player should get ready to block the attacks. There are 3 attacks in total, but the third attack you will fail on purpose. Only block the first 2 attacks. When you fail to block the third attack, the boss will slam the ground. When you fail to block the third attack, the raid leader should use the Balthor Sidereal after the boss fully stretches his hand in the air. This will trigger a special interaction with a lot of time for damage. The Balthor Sidereal will do 20 HP lines of damage. If most of the raid is alive at this point, it should be a clear. In hard mode, once you get the boss down to 0, the final phase will start, where you'll be fighting a large orb while dodging an array of attacks. The orb in the center has a large shield, but Bastion could do a good amount of damage to it. As soon as possible, the raid leader should use the Bastion Sidereal and his follow-up skill. Focus on dodging the attacks and dealing as much damage as you can. But now that we've discussed all major mechanics, I would like to talk about some patterns for every phase. I won't go over all of them, just the ones I think are important. The following attacks occur in Phase 1, some of which will also occur in Phase 3. The boss will cross both his arms and show a yellow telegraph with multiple lightning puddles that will shock you upon impact. When the telegraph is about to fill up, press G to block the attack. If you are shocked from a lightning puddle, you'll be unable to block, so be careful where you're standing. The boss will show blue lightning coming from his hands and spawn blue lightning puddles around him. Then the boss will glow blue for a counter. If you have the red color icon and counter this attack, the boss will retaliate and deal a lot of damage. This is considered a blue counter, meaning only players with the blue icon can counter the boss. There is a red version of this attack as well. The boss will place both his hands on the ground and show a lot of blue line telegraphs. The telegraphs will shock you if you get hit. In a moment, the boss will glow purple for a 2-man co-op counter. The boss will lift up his hand while holding a ball of lightning. Then it will explode, sending out multiple lightning tornadoes in various directions. Getting hit by the tornado will shock you for a few seconds. When the tornadoes reach the edge, the boss will clap his hands, showing a yellow telegraph that is either inside safe, middle safe, or outside safe. Getting hit by this telegraph will also shock you for a few seconds. The boss will smash his hands together, attempting to grab anyone in front of him. If anyone gets grabbed, the boss will glow yellow and players will need to block the attack. Then a stagger bar will be shown. Complete the stagger check to free the grabbed player. If the player dies while he is grabbed, then the stagger check will go away. The boss will raise his hand in the air and attempt to smash the ground. He will glow blue for a counter. If a player counters, the boss will quickly glow blue again for another counter. The boss will gather energy in his hands and rotate 180 degrees, showing a telegraph where left and right is safe. Now we will dive into Phase 2 patterns. Some of these patterns can also occur in Phase 4. The screen will darken and the boss will wield his hammer with both hands, raising them in the air. Then multiple pizza telegraphs will be shown. Pay attention to the color coming from the boss. Whichever color the boss is showing is going to be the color of the pizza telegraph directly in front of the boss, with the telegraphs to the left and right being the opposite color. In this example, the boss is showing a red color. The telegraph in front is going to be a red pizza, and to the left and right it will be a blue pizza, and the telegraph to the left and right of that is going to be red again. Standing in the wrong color will deal damage and increase meter. When the boss slams the ground, the lightning from the pizza will linger around for a few seconds, so do not move out immediately. The boss will throw one of his hammers, which will fly around him, then clash with another hammer in front of him. When the two hammers come together, a cross lightning attack will occur. Then the boss will slam the ground with both of his hammers. Directly in front of the boss is safe for this attack. The boss will stare at a player while raising both of his hammers in the air. The stare is noted by a yellow flash coming from his eyes. The boss will then raise one of his arms further back and slam on the ground multiple times. Whichever arm the boss is raising is the direction of the safe spot to go to prevent damage and gaining meter. The boss will wield his hammer upside down and show a red telegraph in front of him, and 3 yellow telegraphs attached to random players that will lock on after a moment. Then the boss will slam the ground 2 times in total. The boss will smash both his hammers on the ground, then bring them together, dealing damage to anyone in front of him. Afterwards, a follow-up AoE attack will occur where outside is safe. The boss will reach forward to the outside and smash both his hammers on the ground, then bring them together, dealing damage to anyone in front of him on the outside. Afterwards, a follow-up AoE attack will occur where inside is safe. The boss will raise both hammers in the air, with both hammers showing a color. Then the boss will slam the ground. Go to the side that matches your color. The screen will turn dark, and the boss will show a red telegraph in front of him, then throw his hammers in that direction. His hammers will then come back 2 more times, showing another 2 set of telegraphs where the hammers will return. At the end, the boss will wield both hammers and show a color. The color that the boss is showing is the color that is inside safe. Opposite color is outside safe. The boss will send out both his hammers that will fly around him. Then the hammers will come back and he will perform an attack where inside is safe. Now we will dive into Phase 3 patterns. The boss will turn yellow and attempt to grab anyone in front of him. If anyone is grabbed, the boss will turn blue after a moment for a counterattack. The boss will gather energy with both of his hands, then spread his hands out, forming a yellow telegraph where middle is safe. The boss will glow red or blue and act as if he is going to explode. If you do not share the same color as the boss, you need to look away, otherwise you will be shocked for a few seconds. The boss will slam his arm on the ground, then push his arm forward, attempting to knock back anyone in the way. There is another similar attack he does, but instead, he will fling his hand, then slam it on the ground, which will also knock back anyone in the way. The boss will gather energy, then clap his hands, then slam the ground multiple times, with every slam sending out a wave that will knock you upon impact. The boss will slam the ground a final time, showing a telegraph where inside and outside is safe. Regarding Phase 4 patterns, there is only one I need to discuss, and it's the most common way to die in Phase 4, especially when you're progging. We call it home run. The boss will wield his hammer with both hands and raise it back far, then slash forward. It almost looks like he is trying to hit a baseball. You can spacebar this attack, use push immunity, or just move away. If you are hit by this attack, you will die by gravity. The following patterns occur in the final phase. This final phase is for hard mode only, so feel free to skip over this section if you do not plan on doing hard mode. At the start of the final phase, the boss will show a small red line telegraph that shoots a laser. This attack repeats 4 times in total, with the telegraph going clockwise each time. After the red line telegraphs, you will see a yellow telegraph where inside is safe or outside is safe, with follow-up rectangle telegraphs where inside or outside is safe. The boss will then aggro to a random player with a large yellow telegraph. When the telegraph goes away, the boss will fire a laser that does a lot of damage. When the telegraph locks on, move out to avoid damage. This laser attack will occur periodically until the boss is dead. In addition, throughout this phase, you will see red and blue orbs coming from the outside with the intention of reaching the boss. You do not have to focus on collecting them, but if you do collect them, you will get a damage buff that stacks up to 5 times. After the boss does his large laser attack 3 times, the boss will then change to a blue or red color, and a random player will get a white puddle which will swap colors of anyone standing inside of it. If you are not the same color as the boss, you will take massive tick damage over time. In addition, when the boss does change color, 2 lightning telegraphs will rotate around the map and get larger in size. When the telegraph is at maximum size, it will explode, shocking anyone standing inside of it. After a moment, the boss will change back to a yellow color. Then the entire barrage of attacks will repeat again, except the start is a little bit different. Everyone will have a laser attached to their character, with 2 lightning pillars that rotate around the map. Everyone should spread out so that the lasers do not overlap, then move out once the lasers lock on. And that will conclude the guide for Mordum Gate 3. If you have enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.